Hello and welcome back to another edition of Averett Theater Spring 2021 Play Series. In this installment of our series, you will see two shows with the same actors, Riley Cooper and Austin Sipe. This is their senior seminar performance. The first show is a scene from Almost Maine, a play by John Carnari comprising 9 short plays that explore love and loss in a remote, mythical, almost town called Almost Maine. It premiered at the Portland Stage Company in Portland, Maine in 2004, where it broke box office records and garnered critical acclaim. Carnari later adapted the play into a book of the same name. This scene is called They Fell. Randy will be played by Riley and Chad by Austin. In this scene, Chad's feelings change in their friendship. Thank you once again for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the fall. Enjoy!
I believe you, I'm just saying.
It was bad, Chad. Bad.
I hear you, but come on.
But you're not listening, Chad. It was bad.
No, you're not listening.
Real bad.
I'm trying to tell you, I had a pretty bad time myself.
No. There's no way it was worse than mine.
It was pretty bad, Randy.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Go.
She said she didn't like the way I smelled.
What?
Sally told me she didn't like the way that I smelled. Never has.
Sally Dunley told you she didn't like the way,
Yeah.
when?
When I picked her up, she got in the truck, started backing out of her driveway, then all of a sudden she starts breathing real hard, and then she asks me to stop. So she gets out the truck and says that she's sorry, and that she can't go out with me because she doesn't like the way that I smell. Never has.
What?
Yep. Said she thought she'd be able to overlook it. Turns out that wasn't going to be possible after all. So she slammed the door on me and let me sit right there in her driveway.
Because she didn't like the way you smelled.
Yeah.
Well, what kind of I don't mind the way you smell.
Thanks.
Jeez.
Yeah. Told you it was bad.
More than bad, Chad. That's sad.
Yeah. So I guess I'm the big winner tonight, huh? And I pick tomorrow. And bowling. We'll go bowling. Supper at the Snowmobile Club. Couple of beers at the Moose Patty. Just hang out.
I didn't say you were the big winner.
What?
Did I say you're the big winner?
No, but then there's
No,
way.
that's pretty sad, Chad, and bad. But you didn't win.
What do you mean?
You didn't win.
You can beat me in torch. You smell bad?
Yeah.
Okay. Well then.
Mine's face broke.
What?
Her face broke. Her. Yeah. Only get one chance with a girl like Yvonne de France. And her face broke.
Who?
Told you it was bad.
How'd you break her face?
We were dancing.
Dancing.
Yep.
Why were you dancing?
Because that's what she wanted to do on our date. So I took her. Took her down to the rec center. They got lessons there. You pay, you get a lesson, and then you dance all night long. They teach together dancing, how to dance together. And they taught us this thing where you pick the girl up and over. And, well, Yvonne, she's pretty small, and I'm pretty strong. So I picked her up and over. And, well, she fell over. And she landed on her face. And it broke.
Ouch.
Had to take her to the emergency room.
That's a drive.
38 miles.
Yep.
And she cried. he did. Ask me to please leave. He's small as she is. What?
That's just pretty bad.
Yep.
And sad.
Yep.
So I guess you win, huh?
Yep.
So what do you think tomorrow?
Bowling, supper at the snowmobile club, a couple of beers at the moose patty, hang out.
Good.
What?
I don't know. Just sometimes. Sometimes I don't know why I bother going out. I hate it, Randy. I hate going out in the States. I don't know why I want to spend my Friday night with someone I might maybe like, when I could be spending it with someone I know I like. Like you know? Yeah. It was rough tonight, in the middle of Sally telling me she didn't like the way I smelled. I got real sad.
Aw, buddy.
And all I could think about was how not much in this world makes sense or feels good to me. And then I got kind of scared. Because there's got to be something that makes sense or makes you feel good, or what's the point, right?
Yeah?
And then I kind of came out of being sad because I realized that there is one thing in this world that does make sense and that does feel good to me. And that one thing is you.
Well, I'm gonna head.
Yeah.
I got work in the morning.
I'm supervising the first shift at the mill. I can pick up any time after 3,
Let's go catch up from the show.
4, 5, 6.
Probably busy all day. I don't know. I don't know. Hey! See you later.
Yeah. 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 Hey, Randy!
Whoa! Chad, you all right?
Yeah.
What the? Here. Chad, what's going on? What was that?
I don't know, I just fell.
Well, I figured that out.
No, I think I just fell in love with you here, Randy. Yep. That's what that is. Me falling in love with you here.
Chad, what's going on? Come on, get up.
No.
Would you cut that out?
I can't help it, it just came over me. I fall in love with you here, Randy.
Chad, you're my best friend in the whole world, and I don't know what's going on or what you've gotten into, but what the heck is your problem? Jeeves and Crow, you're my best friend.
Yeah?
Yeah, and that's something you don't mess with. And you mess with it, and you don't do that. Because you know something? You're about the only thing that makes sense and feels good in this world to me, too. And then you go and foul it up by doing this whole... And then telling me that... And now it doesn't make sense, and it doesn't feel good. You're messing with a good thing here, buddy, because we're friends. And there's a line you don't cross when you're friends, and you crossed it.
The Zoo Story is a one-act play by American playwright Edward Albee. His first play, it was written in 1958 and completed in just 3 weeks. The play explores themes of isolation, loneliness, miscommunication as anathematization, social disparity, and dehumanization in a materialistic world. Today, professional theater companies can produce the Zoo story either as part of Edward Albee's At Home at the Zoo, originally titled Peter and Jerry, or as a standalone play. Its prequel, Home Life, written in 2004, however, can only be produced as part of Edward Albee's At Home at the Zoo. Originally rejected by the New York producers, the play premiered in West Berlin at Schleier Theater on September 28, 1959, in a double bill with German premiere of Samuel Beckett's Krapp's Last Tape. The play won the 1960 Obie Award for Distinguished Play and Distinguished Performance by William Daniels. The one-act play concerns two characters, Peter, played by Austin, and Jerry, played by Riley, who meet on a park bench in New York City's Central Park. Peter is a wealthy publishing executive with a wife, 2 daughters, 2 cats, and 2 parakeets. Jerry is an isolated and disheartened man, desperate to have meaningful conversations with another human being.
I've been to the zoo. I said I've been to the zoo. Mister, I've been to the zoo.
I'm sorry, were you talking to me?
I went to the zoo before I came here. Have I been walking north?
North? I believe so. Let me check.
Is that 5th Avenue?
Why, yes it is.
And what is that over there? To the right, across the street.
That's 74th Street.
And the zoo is on 65th Street. So I've been walking north.
It would seem so.
Good old north. But not due north.
No, not due north, but we call it north. It's northerly.
Boy, you're not going to get lung cancer from that, are you?
No, sir, not from this.
No, sir. What you'll probably get is cancer of the mouth, and then you'll have to wear one of those thingies that Freud wore when they took away one whole side of his jaw. What are those thingies called again?
A prosthesis?
The very thing, a prosthesis. You're an educated man, aren't you? Are you a doctor?
No, I read about it somewhere. Time magazine, I think.
Well, Time magazine isn't for blockheads, is it?
No, I suppose it's not.
Boy, I'm glad that's 5th Avenue.
Yes.
I don't like the west side of the park very much.
Oh. Why's that?
I don't know.
Oh.
Do you mind if we talk?
Well, no, not really.
You do.
No,
Yes, you do.
no, I don't.
You do.
No, I really don't mind.
It's a nice day out.
Yes, it is. It's lovely.
I've been to the zoo.
Yes, I think you mentioned that.
You'll read about it in the papers tomorrow. If you don't see it on your TV tonight. You do have TV, haven't you?
Yes, we have 2. One for the children.
You're married.
Why, certainly.
Well, it isn't a law, for God's sakes.
No, I guess it's not.
And you have a wife?
Yes?
And you have children?
Yes, 2.
Boys?
No, girls.
But you wanted boys.
Well, naturally every man wants a son,
But
but
that's the way the cookie crumbles?
I wasn't going to say that.
And you're not going to have any more kids, are you?
No, no more. How did you know about that? Why did you ask that?
Maybe it's the way you cross your legs. Perhaps something in the voice. Or maybe I'm just guessing. Is it your wife?
That's none of your business. Do you hear me? Do you understand? Well, you're right. We'll have no more.
And that's the way the cookie crumbles.
I guess so.
Well now,
What else?
You said something about the zoo, that I was gonna read about it or see it.
I'll tell you about that soon. Do you mind if I ask you questions?
No, I suppose not.
I'll tell you why I do it. I don't get to talk to too many people except to say things like, grab me a beer, or where's the John, or when does the feature go on, or keep your hands to yourself, buddy. You know, those kinds of things.
I must say I don't.
But every once in a while, I like to talk to somebody. Really talk to them, get to know them, know all about them.
And I'm the guinea pig for today?
On a sun-drenched Sunday afternoon like this, who better to talk to than a married man with 2 daughters and a dog? No? 2 dogs. No dogs. That's a shame. I would have passed you as an animal man. Cats? Oh, cats. Oh, gosh. But no, sir, that can't be your idea. Was it your wife or your daughters? Is there anything else I should know?
There are 2 parakeets, one for each of my daughters.
Birds.
They sleep in a cage in my daughter's room.
Do they have disease? The birds.
I don't think so.
That's too bad. If they did, you could let them loose out around the house and the cats could eat them and die, maybe. Well, now, what else? So, what do you do to support your enormous household?
I have an executive position at a small publishing house. We publish textbooks.
That sounds nice. Very nice. How much do you make?
Now, see here,
Oh,
I wouldn't
come
even...
on.
I make around $18,000 a year, but I don't normally keep any more than $40 on me at any one time, in case you're a holdup, man.
Where do you live? Oh, come on. I'm not going to rob you or kidnap your daughters or your cats or your parakeets.
I live between Lexington and 3rd Avenue on 74th Street.
That wasn't so hard, was it?
I'm sorry if I seemed... It's just... You don't really carry on conversation well. You just sort of ask questions and then I'm sort of reticent. I mean, why do you just stand there?
Well, I'll start talking in a little while. And eventually I'll sit down. Just wait till you see the expression on his face.
Whose face? Is this about the zoo?
The what?
The zoo. Something about the zoo?
The zoo?
You've mentioned it several times.
The zoo. Oh yeah, the zoo. I was there before I came here. I told you that. Say, what's the dividing line between upper middle class and lower upper middle class?
My dear fellow,
Oh, don't my dear fellow.
Was I being patronizing? I do believe I was. I'm sorry. It's just your question about the classes bewildered me.
And when you're bewildered, you become patronizing.
I don't always express myself the best. I'm in publishing, not writing.
So be it. Truth is, I was being patronizing.
Now, you needn't say that.
All right. Who are some of your favorite writers? Baudelaire? J.P. Markman?
Oh, I like a great many writers. I have a sort of catholicity of taste. Both writers are fine in their own right. Baudelaire, the more finer of the two, obviously, but Markman, he definitely has a place in our national, what's the word?
Skip it.
Sorry.
You want to know what I did before I went to the zoo today? I walked all the way up 5th Avenue. All the way up to Central Park West.
Oh, you live in the village.
No, I don't. I took a subway to the village so I could walk all the way up 5th Avenue to the zoo. That's what a person has to do sometimes. Sometimes a person has to walk a very long distance out of the way to come back a very short distance correctly.
I thought you lived in the village.
What were you trying to do? Make sense out of things? Bring order to the old pigeonhole bit? Well, that's easy, I'll tell you. I live in a 4-story brownstone rooming house on the Upper West Side between Columbus Avenue and Central Park West. I live on the top floor, rear west, in a laughably small room, and one of my walls is made up of beaver board. And the room on the other side of this beaver board wall is also laughably small, so I assume the 2 rooms were once one room. One small room. Not necessarily laughable. Well, the other 2 front rooms that we have are a little bit larger, I guess. I don't know. But one of them is occupied by a Puerto Rican family, a husband, a wife, some kids. I don't know how many. These people entertain a lot. And in the other front small room, there's somebody who lives there. But I don't know who it is. Never seen who it is. Never ever. Oh, but the beaver board wall. That room is occupied by a colored queen who always plucks his eyebrows when his door is open. And which he does with Buddhist concentration. And this colored queen has rotten teeth, which is rare. He also has a Japanese kimono, which is pretty rare, which he wears to and from the John, which is frequent. I mean, he goes to the John a lot. He never bothers me, never brings anyone up to his room. All he ever does is pluck his eyebrows, wear his kimono, and go to the John.
Why do you live there?
I don't know.
It doesn't seem like a very nice place
Well, no.
where you live.
It's not. It's not an apartment in the East 70s, but then again, I don't have a wife, 2 children, 2 cats, 2 parakeets. What I do have is I have some toilet articles, a few clothes, a hot plate that I'm not supposed to have, a can opener which works with a key, a knife, 2 spoons, 2 forks, 1 small, 1 large, 3 cups, a plate, a saucer, a drinking glass, 2 picture frames, both empty, a pack of pornographic playing cards, regular deck, and an old Western Union typewriter which only types capital letters, and a strong box without a lock which has in it what? Rocks. Some rocks. Some sea-rounded rocks that I picked up off the beach when I was a kid. Which weighed down are some letters. Some please letters. Like, please, when will you do this? And please, how will you do that? And when letters. When will you write? When will you come? These letters are from more recent years.
About those 2 empty picture frames.
I don't see why they need any explanation at all. Isn't it pretty clear? I don't have any pictures of anyone to put in them.
Your parents, perhaps. Or a girlfriend?
You're a very sweet man, and truly possessed of an enviable innocence. Good old mom and good old pop are dead, you know. Pretty broken up about it, I mean, really. But that particular vaudeville act is playing the cloud circuit now, so I don't see how I can look at them all nicely, neat, and framed. And besides, or rather to be pointed out, good old mom walked out on good old pop when I was 10 years old, and embarked on an adulterous turn of our southern states, a journey's length of a year's duration. Her most constant companion, among many others, was Mr. Barleycorn. At least that's what good old Pop told me when he went down, came back and brought her body north. You see, that good old mom had parted with the ghost in some dump in Alabama, and without the ghost, mom was less welcome. But was she? Stiff? A northern stiff? Well, we had received the news between Christmas and New Year's. But at any rate, good old Pop had enjoyed the New Year's for even 2 weeks until he splattered in front of a somewhat moving city omnibus, and that cleansed things out family-wise. Well, now, then there's Mom's sister. She was given neither descent nor consolations of the bottle, so I moved in on her. My memory of her is accepting. I remember that she did everything dourly, like eating, sleeping, working, praying, and then she dropped dead to the steps of her apartment. My apartment then, too, on the evening of my high school graduation. Sounds like a terrible Middle European joke if you ask me.
Oh my. Oh my.
Oh, you're what? That was a long time ago. And I don't have any feelings that I like to admit myself, so I can imagine you can see why good old Mom and good old Papa Framus. What's your name? Your first name?
I'm Peter.
I've forgotten to ask. I'm Jerry.
Hello, Jerry.
And let's see. About the girl's picture being framed. I have 2 picture frames, you remember? I never get to see the little ladies more than once, and most of them wouldn't dare to be in the same room with a camera. It's odd, and I wonder if it's sad.
The girls?
No. I wonder if it's sad that I never get to see the pretty little ladies more than once. I mean, I've never been able to have sex with, or how would you put it? Make love to somebody more than once? Once. That's it. Oh, wait, when I was 15 and a half years old and I hung my head in shame that puberty was late, I was HOMOSEXUAL. I mean, I was queer. Queer, with bells ringing and banners snapping in the wind. And for those 11 days, I met with the park superintendent's son, who was a Greek boy, whose birthday was the same as mine, and he was a year older than me. I think I was in love, maybe with just the sex. But isn't that the jazz in the very special hotel room? And besides, I do love the little ladies. I love them. About an hour.
Well, it seems perfectly simple to me.
Look, are you going to tell me to get married and have parakeets?
Look, forget the parakeets and stay single if you'd like. Remember, I didn't start this conversation.
All right. I'm sorry. All right? You're not angry, are you?
No, I'm not angry.
Good. It's interesting. I figured you would have asked me about the pornographic playing cards, not the empty picture frames.
I remember those cards.
That's not the point. I imagine you and your buddies passed them around when you were kids, or you had a pack of your own.
Well, I guess a lot of us did.
And you threw them away right before you got married?
Now, see here, I had no need for such things when I got older.
No?
I'd rather not talk about these things.
So, don't. Besides, I wasn't trying to pull your post-adolescent sex life for hard times. What I was trying to get at was the value difference between having pornographic playing cards as a child and having pornographic playing cards as an adult. See, as a kid, you use the cards as a substitute for the real experience. But as an adult, you use the real experience as a substitute for the fantasy. But I imagine you'd rather know what happened at the zoo.
The zoo, yes. Tell me what happened at the zoo. That is, if you're comfortable.
Well, let me tell you some things first. I've told you about the 4th floor of the rooming house that I live in. Well, I like to think the floors or the rooms get better as you go down floor by floor. I don't know, they might. And I don't really know anybody who lives on the 2nd or 3rd floor. Oh, wait, actually I do. I know that there's a woman who lives on the 3rd floor, and I know this because she's always crying whenever I come in or go out. She's always crying behind a closed door. Very muffled, but very determined. Determined indeed. But what I was getting at, and what is all about the dog, is the landlady. And I don't like to use harsh words to describe people very often, but the landlady is fat, ugly, mean, stupid, unwashed, misanthropic, drunken bag of garbage. And you can tell I seldom use profanity, so I might not be able to describe her as well as I might.
You describe her vividly.
Well, thanks. Anyway, this landlady and her dog are the dwellers to my gatekeep. And this landlady is more than enough. She'll lean around the corner of the entrance hall that I live in to spy on me, to see if I bring anything or anyone up to my room. And after she's had her mid-afternoon pint of lemon-flavored gin, she'll grab me by the coat or the arm, and then she'll pull her disgusting body up against me. Oh, that breath, you couldn't even imagine it. But somewhere in that pea-sized brain of hers, an organ developed enough to let her eat, drink, and emit. And she has a foul parody of sexual desire. And I, Peter, am the object of her sweaty lust.
That's disgusting. That's horrible.
Well, but I found a way to keep her off. But whenever she comes up to me and presses her body against me and talks into my ear about her room and how I should come there, I merely say, "But love, wasn't yesterday enough for you? Or the day before?" And then she puzzles. And she makes these tiny little slits in her eyes. And then for the first time ever, I think I might be doing some good in that tormented house. So she moans, and she groans, and she believes and relives what never happened. And then she motions to that black monster of a dog of hers, and she goes to her room. And then I am safe until our next meeting.
It's so unthinkable. It's hard for me to imagine that people such as that really are.
It's worth reading for, isn't it?
Yes.
And fact is left better to fiction. Here. I think I've been meaning to tell you about the dog. I shall now.
Oh, yes, the dog?
You're not going anywhere, are you?
No, I was
Good,
just...
good. So after I tell you about the dog, you know what then, Peter? Then I'll tell you about what happened at the zoo.
You're full of stories, aren't you?
Well, you don't have to listen to them. Nobody's keeping you here. Keep that in your mind. Remember that.
I know that.
You do? Good. All right. The story of Jerry and the dog. See, what I'm going to tell you has something to do with how a person has to go a very long distance out of their way to come back a short distance correctly. It's why I went to the zoo today, or why I walked north, or northernly rather, until I came here. All right, I think I've told you about the dog, that it's a black monster of a beast. It's got an oversized head, tiny ears and eyes, bloodshot, infected maybe, and the body where you can see the bones through the skin. Oh, the dog is black. All black except for the bloodshot eyes. Oh, wait, and a sore on its right forepaw. Poor bastard. It's an old dog and certainly a misused one, and it's always got an erection of some sorts, and that's red too. What else? Oh yeah, he's got a gray-yellow color when he bares his fangs, like this. Ah! Which is what he did the first time he saw me, the day I moved in. And I had always worried about that animal from the time that I first met him. And you know, animals don't take to me like birds take to St. Francis hanging on him all the time. What I mean is, animals aren't different to me, like people, most of the time. But this dog wasn't a difference. From the very beginning, he would snarl and then go for me and try to get one of my pant legs. It's not like he was rabid or anything. He was a stumbly dog. Wasn't half-assed either. It was a good stumbly run, but I always got away. But one day, he got a piece of my trouser leg. Look, you can see right there, right where it's mended. He got that the second day I got there, but then I kicked free, and I ran upstairs to my room, and that was that. I still don't understand how, to this day, the other roomers managed it, but I think it only had to do with me. Cozy. Well, anyway, this went on for about a week, and one day after I had bolted upstairs up to my room, I decided that I would make up my mind. I decided that I would kill the dog with kindness. If that didn't work, I'd just kill the dog. Hey, don't react, Peter, just listen. So, the next day, I go out and I get a bag of hamburgers, medium rare, no onion, no ketchup. And on the way home, I threw out all the rolls and kept just the meat. But when I returned to the rooming house, there the dog was. He was there waiting for me. So, I cautiously opened up the door with the hamburgers in one hand, and I lay down the meat about 12 feet from where the dog was snarling at me, just like so. And then he snarls. He stops snarling, and then he moves slowly, and then faster, and then he stops. And he looks at me. I smile, but tentatively, you understand? Then he turns his head back to the meat, and then he just tore into it like he had never eaten anything in his life before, besides garbage, which might as well have been the truth. I mean, I don't think the landlady ate anything else besides garbage. Well, he ate all the meat, all the hamburger, almost all at once, and he was making sounds in his throat like a woman. But after he had finished the meat, and all the hamburger, and almost all the paper, he sat down. And he smiled. I think he did. I know cats do. It was a very gratifying few moments. And then, bam! I darted upstairs and I got away this time. And the dog tried to get to me this time. And to be truthful, I was offended. I was damn mad. Because that was 6 perfectly good hamburgers without enough pork in it to be disgusting. I mean, I was offended. Well, after a while, I decided to keep doing this, and the dog had amounted to an antipathy towards me. So I thought I might have been able to overcome this antipathy, so I decided to try for 5 more days, but it was always the same. Snarl, sniff, stare, gobble, rah, snarl, sniff. And by this time, Columbus Avenue was strewn with hamburger rolls, and I was less offended than disgusted. So I decided to kill the dog. Hey, don't be so alarmed, Peter. I didn't succeed. On the evening that I tried to kill the dog, I only bought 1 hamburger. And what I thought was a murderous portion of rat poisoning. So when I go buy the hamburger, I asked the man, don't worry about the rolls. And I expected him to have some sort of reaction like, oh, we don't sell no hamburger without no rolls. What are you gonna do? Eat it out your hands? But no, he smiled benignly, wrapped it up in wax paper, and he gave it to me. And he said, a bite for your pussycat? I wanted to say, no, it's actually for a dog or for a plan to poison a dog that I know. But you can't just say a dog I know without sounding funny. So I said very loudly, I'm afraid, and very formally, yes, a bite from my pussycat. And then everybody looked up. It always happens when I try to simplify things. But that was neither here nor thither. So on the way back to the rooming house, I needed the hamburger and the poison between my hands. And when I got back to the rooming house, there the beast was, waiting to take the offering and then jump me. Poor bastard. He never knew that the time he took the smile gave me enough time to get out of range. So I take the poison patty, and I lay it down, and I go back to the stairs, and I watch. Oh, the poor animal. He gobbled it all down, and then smiled, which made me sick, and then, bam! He darts for me again as usual, and I get away as usual. But it had come to pass that the dog was deathly ill. I know this because he no longer attended me, and the landlady had sobered up. Well, on the evening of the attempted murder after it was happened, the landlady had confronted me in the hallway and confided some information in me that God had struck her puppy dog a surely fatal blow. She had forgotten her bewildered lust, and her eyes were open for the first time. It looked like the dog's eyes. She sniveled and then implored for me to pray for the animal, so I said to her, Madam, I have myself to pray for, the colored queen, the person whom I've never seen, and the woman who cries deliberately behind the closed door. And besides, madam, I don't understand how to pray. But I decided to simplify things, and I told her that I would pray anyway. Well, she looked up, and she called me a liar and said that I probably wanted the dog to die. And there's some truth here in what I'm about to say. I did not want the dog to die. Not because I had poisoned him. I wanted the dog to live so I could see what our new relationship might have come to. Please, Peter, you must understand that this kind of thing is important. Believe me, it is important. We have to know the effect of our actions. Well, anyway, the dog had recovered, and I don't know why, unless he was a descendant of the puppy dog that guarded the gates of hell or some sort of resort. I'm not up on my mythology, are you? Well, at any rate, you've missed the $8,000 question, Peter. You've missed it. The dog had recovered his health, The landlady had recovered her thirst, in no way altered by Bow Wow's deliverance. Well, I had gone to go see a movie that was playing on 42nd Street, one that I had seen, and one that was like several that I had seen, after she had told me that Puppykins was better. Well, I expected the dog to be waiting for me. I was, enticed, fascinated. Nah, that's not it. Heart-shatteringly anxious. That's it. I was heart-shatteringly anxious to confront my dog friend again. Yes, Peter, friend. It's the only word I can put to it. I was heart-shatteringly, etc., to confront my dog friend again. So I get back to the grooming house, and the dog is there. So I opened up the door, and I advanced, unafraid, to the center of the rooming house, and there he was. And we stopped, and we looked at each other. We were like that for a while. Still, stone statue, just looking at each other. I looked into his eyes, he looked into my eyes. I mean, I can look at a dog's eyes longer than a dog can look at mine, or anybody else's for the fact of that matter. But for that 20 seconds, or 2 hours, we made contact. And now I know what I wanted to happen. I loved the dog, and I wanted the dog to love me. I had tried to love, and I had tried to kill, and both of them were unsuccessful by themselves at this point. I was just hoping that the dog would understand. I don't know why I expected the dog to understand, much less my motivations. I just really hoped that the dog would understand. It's just that, if you can't deal with people, you have to start somewhere. With animals. Don't you see? People have a way of dealing with things. If not people, it could be anything. It could be a bed. It could be a cockroach. It could be a mirror. No, not a mirror. That's too hard. That's one of the last steps. What else? A cockroach, a carpet, a roll of toilet paper. No, not that one either. That's just like the mirror. No, always check bleeding. Don't you see how hard it is to find things on the street corner with all the lights and all the colors reflecting off the oily wet streets with a wisp of smoke, with a strong box without a lock, with love, with vomiting, with crying, with fury, because the pretty little ladies are pretty little ladies, and with making love or making money with your body, which is supposed to be an act of love, and I can prove it because you're alive with God. With God. How about that? With God, who is a colored queen who plucks his eyebrows and wears his kimono to the John. With God, who is a woman who cries with determination behind a closed door. With God, who supposedly turned his back on everything some time ago. With a place. With people. People. With an idea. With a concept. And where better to start than this humiliating excuse of a jail? Where? It'd be a start. And where better to start a beginning of an understanding than with a dog. Just that. A dog. It seemed like a perfectly sensible idea. A dog is a man's best friend. So, the dog and I looked at each other when I got back to the rooming house. I into his eyes, he into my eyes, and what I saw has been the same ever since. We regard each other with sadness and suspicion, and then we feign indifference. We walk past each other safely because we have an understanding. Look, I know it's sad, but you'll have to admit it is an understanding. So the dog is returned to garbage, and I to solitary but free passage. No, I have not returned. What I mean to say is I have gained solitary but free passage, but if that much further lost consent to be gained, then I have learned that neither cruelty nor kindness, independent of themselves, creates any effect beyond themselves. Then I have also learned that if you combine the two, at the same time, it creates the teaching emotion. And what is vain is lost. And what is the result? The dog and I have made a compromise. More of a bargain, really. We neither love nor try to hurt each other because we do not reach each other. And was feeding the dog an act of kindness or an act of love? Or perhaps was the dog trying to bite me not an act of love? If we can so misunderstand, then why have we invented the word love in the first place? The story of Jerry and the dog. The end. So, Peter, tell me what you think. Oh, come on, Peter, tell me what you think. You think I could sell that story at a Reader's Digest and make a couple $100 for the most unforgettable character I've ever met? Huh? Oh, come on, Peter, tell me what you think.
I don't think that... I don't understand, but... Why did you tell me all this?
Why not?
I don't understand.
That's a lie.
No. No, it's not.
Well, I tried to tell you. I went slowly. It all has to do...
I don't want to hear anymore. I don't understand you or your landlady or her dog.
Her dog? I thought it was mine. No. You're right. It is her dog. I don't even know what I was thinking, and of course you wouldn't understand. I don't live on your block. I'm a permanent transient, and my home is the sickening rooming house on the Upper West Side of New York City, which is supposed to be the greatest city in the world. Amen.
I'm sorry.
Forget it. I suppose you don't know what to think of me, do you, Peter?
We get all kinds of publishing.
It's very funny, Peter. You're a funny man, you know that?
Oh, I don't think so.
Peter, do I annoy you or confuse you?
This certainly wasn't the afternoon I was expecting.
You mean I'm not the gentleman you were expecting?
I wasn't expecting anybody.
No, I suppose you weren't. But I'm here, and I'm not going anywhere.
Well, you may not be, but I really ought to be getting home.
Oh, come on.
Oh, really? I should be getting home.
Don't stay a lot longer. Come
No,
on.
no, don't do that, Jerry.
Oh, come on.
No, Jerry, don't. I really should be getting home.
Come on.
The parakeets they're getting there, and the cats are setting the table.
Oh, Peter, you gotta listen now. Listen now, Peter. Do you want to hear what happened at the zoo?
The zoo? Yes, I had my own little zoo there with the parakeets and the cats.
That's very funny, Peter. I wouldn't have expected it. But do you want to hear what happened at the zoo or not?
Yes, tell me what happened at the zoo. My goodness, what happened to me?
All right, I'll let you in on what happened at the zoo. But first, I should tell you why I went to the zoo. I went to the zoo to find out the way that people exist with animals, and with the animals with themselves, and with other people. But that probably wasn't a fair test, knowing that everybody's separated by bars, and for the most part, the animals from themselves and from the people. But if it's a zoo, that's the way it is. Move over.
I'm sorry, haven't you enough room?
Well, all the animals are there, and all the people are there, and it's Sunday afternoon, so all the kids are there. Move over.
All right.
And it's a hot day out, so all the stench is there, and all the ice cream sellers, and all the balloon sellers, all the seals are barking, and all the birds are chirping. Move over!
Now look here, you have more than enough room.
And I'm there, and it's feeding time at the lion's house. And one of the lion's keeper goes into one of the lion cages to feed one of the lions. Move over!
I can't move over anymore, and stop hitting me. What's the matter with you?
Hear the rest of the story or not?
I'm not so sure. I certainly don't want to be punched in the arm.
Well, like this?
Stop it! What's the matter with you?
I'm crazy, you bastard.
That's not funny.
I want this bench beer. You go sit over on that one, and if you're good, I'll tell you the rest of the story.
But whatever for? What's the matter with you? Besides, I don't see why I should give you this bench. I come to this bench nearly every Sunday afternoon, in good weather. It's secluded here. There's usually nobody sitting here, so I have it all to myself.
I want this bench, Peter. Now get over there.
No.
I said I want this bench, and I'm going to have it.
People can't have everything they want. You should know that. It's a rule. People can have some of the things they want, but they can't have everything.
Imbecile. You're slow-witted.
Stop that.
You're a vegetable. Go lie on the ground.
Now, look here. I have put up with you all afternoon.
Not really.
Oh, long enough. I've put up with you long enough. And I've listened to you, and I listened to you because it seems like you needed to talk to somebody.
You put things, well, economically. And yet, what is the word I'm looking to put to your, You make me sick. Get off of my bench.
My bench.
Get out of my sight.
God damn you. That's enough. I've had enough of you. I'm not giving you this bench, and that's that. Now, if you don't get off this bench, then you're a bum. That's what you are. If you don't get off this bench, then I'll get a policeman to make you go. I warn you, I'll call the police.
You won't find a policeman over here. They're all over on the west side of the park, chasing fairies out of bushes and trees. That's all they ever do. That's their function. So go ahead and scream your head off. It won't do you any good.
Police! I warn you, I'll have you arrested. Police! I said police! I feel ridiculous.
You look ridiculous. A grown man in the park screaming for the police with nobody harming you. If a policeman did come over here to fill his quota, he'd probably take you as a nut.
Great God, I just came here to read. Now you want me to give up my bench? You're mad.
I've got news for you, as they say. This is your precious little bench, and you're never going to have it for yourself again.
Now look, I don't care if it makes any sense or not, but this is my bench, and I want you off it.
Oh, look who's mad.
Stop that.
Oh, no.
I'm warning you.
Do you know how ridiculous you look?
It doesn't matter. Get away from my bench!
Why? You have everything in the world that you want. You've told me about your family, and your own little zoo, and your house.
Now look here. I'm not going to talk to you about honor or even begin to explain it to you. Because this bench, this isn't a question of honor, but if it was, how would you understand?
You don't even know what you're saying, do you? You've never had anything more challenging in your life than the changing of your cat's toilet box. Stupid. Do you have any idea, even the slightest, what other people's needs are?
Well, listen to you. You don't need this bench, that's for sure.
Yes, I do.
I have been coming here for years. I have had many hours of great pleasure, great satisfaction right here. And that's important to a man. I'm a responsible person. And I'm a grown-up. And I want this bench to myself, and I want you off it.
Fight for it then. Fight for the bench.
You push me to it. Get up and fight.
Like a man?
Yes, like a man. If you insist on insulting me even further.
I'll have to admit, Peter, you are one thing. You are a vegetable and a slightly nearsighted one, I think.
That's enough.
Very well. We'll fight for the bench, but we're not evenly matched.
You're mad. You're stark raving mad. You're gonna kill me?
There you go. You have the knife. You pick it up, and then we'll be more evenly matched.
No!
I said, pick up that knife and fight for your self-respect, and you fight for your goddamn bench.
No! Let go of me! Help!
You fight for your wife, you fight for your kids, you fight for your parakeets, you fight for your manhood. You could even get your wife with a male child.
It's a matter of genetics, you monster! All right. Last chance. Get away from my bench. Leave me alone.
Very well. So be it. Ugh.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you. You have no idea how afraid I was that you would go away and leave me. Oh, Peter, you have no idea. And now, I think I'll tell you what happened at the zoo. Or at least I think this is what happened at the zoo. Oh, I don't know. Did I plan this? Oh, I don't think so, but I think I did, Peter. And now you'll know all about what happened. And now you'll know what you'll see in the papers tomorrow, what you'll read on the TV, see on there, and the face I told you about, Peter. My face, the face you see in front of you. I thought I would walk to the zoo today until I met you or anybody, and then I would tell you things. And the things that I would tell you, well, see, here we are. Thank you, Peter. I've come on to you, and you've comforted me. Oh my God. Now, Peter, you won't be coming here anymore. You've been dispossessed. You've lost your bench, but you've defended that honor. And I gotta tell you something, Peter. You're not a vegetable. No, not at all. You're an animal. You're an animal too. And that's okay. But you better hurry away, Peter. You don't want to be here and anybody sees this. Oh my God. You don't. You see, Peter? Better hurry away, Peter. Better hurry away. Oh my God. You see? Hurry away, Peter. Oh, wait, come back. Peter, come grab your book on the bench, or my bench, rather. Hurry up. Very good, Peter. Now hurry away. The parakeets are making dinner,
And the cats are making the table.